So, today's video ought to be interesting. I am reviewing a fan remake of a phone game. And I am not talking about iPhone or Android apps. No. I'm talking about a game on the flip phone. Yeah.
Before Crisis Final Fantasy VII. After the hugely popular success of Final Fantasy VII on the original PlayStation, Square Enix decided to release several spin-off games that tie into the universe of Final Fantasy VII. Before Crisis, a couple of other games, and they even made a movie that takes place after the events of the original game. Are you seeing this footage here? Yeah, you can tell this is before the era of 720p and 1080p. In fact, let me remind you, this game was built for tiny screens on the flip phone. The game started being released episodically back in 2004 until the last episode dropped in 2006. It was going to be released here in the States, but due to our phones not meeting the technical requirements, it remained exclusive to Japan on this phone right here. To the people in Japan, the game was playable through a monthly subscription until the game was finally shut down in 2018.
So, yeah, the game is no longer officially playable. Would Square Enix have plans to incorporate this game into the Final Fantasy VII Remake somehow? But thanks to fans, or a fan by the username Richter Wilker, the game was able to be recreated in RPG Maker, and that's the version I will be looking at today. So, if you're watching this and if you helped remake this game, I want to say thank you very much. And of course, this will be my first time playing this, so let's just get right to it.
This game has a pretty good story, and I have quite a bit to say about it, but with the way I am, I'm going to talk about the overall big picture. The story takes place 6 years before the events of the original game. The story, for the most part, focuses on the conflict between Shinra and Avalanche. Shinra is the leading corporation in the world of Final Fantasy VII, or Gaia, as I'm going to call it. In other words, Shinra is the empire, which is led by President Shinra. And Avalanche, which is led by Elfie, I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, opposes Shinra to save Gaia from using up Mako, Gaia's life force. It's like the Lorax. Shinra is a young boy chopping down trees to sell needs, and Avalanche is the Lorax. This game focuses on the Turks, led by Veld, and are highly trained Secret Service agents of Shinra who prioritize work and duty, even potentially over everything else, including family. Wow, quite the workaholics. Rookie Turk Shotgun is the main character, more on her in just a bit. This game sheds light on more of their day-to-day activities, such as recruiting new members for Soldier, Shinra's military, and in this game's case, fighting Avalanche. There's not really too much to say about the story until the Nibelheim incident. For those of you that have not played Final Fantasy VII, I will talk more about this in Crisis Core, but basically, a super powerful human burned down the village of Nibelheim. It's after this where things get crazy. Elfie of Avalanche is revealed to be Veld's daughter. Elfie is slowly dying due to a materia inside of her. Okay, for those of you that don't know what materia are these orbs that grant special powers to the user. The materia inside Elfie is a summon materia, which summons Zircana. I'm just going to call it the summon. While Avalanche's goal is to keep the planet Gaia alive, the person second in command of Avalanche, whose name is Fujito, wants to take it a step further. He so desires Gaia to live on, so much to the point that he's willing to sacrifice every living creature on it. Ever thought of the Lorax trying to keep those trees alive by sacrificing the other animals? Yeah, me neither. The summon does get defeated, of course, but pretty much all of the Turks die, including Shotgun. The only Turks still alive are Sung, Reno, and Rude. The Turks lacked job security for the Shinra Corporation due to someone who just happens to be the president's son, Rufus, leaking private information about the company. He does it because he wants to overthrow his father, who is the president, and become the president himself. Veld and Elfie were saved by the end of the game, but in order for Sung, Reno, and Rude to keep their jobs, Sung had to eliminate them both, even though the Turks and him had a ton of respect for Veld. Wow, that sucks. But well, that's how Sung became the head Turk. As for Veld needing saving, let's just say he's had trouble with the Shinra company and even got fired at one point, but got back on as head Turk. To be honest though, I don't have much to say about the Turks, although to me, Reno and Rude are the comic relief characters of Final Fantasy VII. Shotgun at first was just the type to say yes sir and does as she asks, but I later realized she's a pretty kind-hearted person. If given the order to kill somebody, she would question it. She even meets the other player characters from the original game, such as Cloud and Barrett. Barrett is living in his hometown of Corel during the events of this game, and she even sees the failed rocket launch that Sid tries to go to space through. Shotgun is the reason why Tifa became the tour guide in Nibelheim. During the incident, Tifa may have been saved by her martial arts teacher, but it was her cat that led the martial arts teacher to Tifa's rescue. What a good kitty. I liked Shotgun as a character, but I wish I got to know the other Turks more before they died. I mean, Shotgun got the majority of the spotlight in this game. Before Crisis is pretty much a mini RPG. It plays a lot like Final Fantasy VII with its active time battle system, only much more bite-sized. You play as rookie Shotgun, who fires a shotgun. You wander the field, and unlike the original game, the encounters are not random. You get into combat by coming in contact with the enemy. As much as I love Final Fantasy, I always preferred this method of getting into battle. The game is not easy, well, up to a certain point anyway. I did die quite a bit, but the game respawns you at your last save, so be sure to save often in this game, and you can save any time while out on the field. Out in the field, you can find items and materia that lets you cast spells. I found this ice wind materia, which is pretty strong, and bombs are especially weak against ice, and I love using it. I have come across some RNG I don't really care for, such as this one fight here. See, there are two bombs, but another time, there is just one at the same fight. I did say the game was not easy up to a certain point, but you can buy items from Aerith, the flower girl, at the start of some chapters. Heavy emphasis on some, because I do wish the shop was more readily available. Resources can be a bit scarce in this game, which is why I bring up the RNG that I don't really care for that much. Chapter 7 did give me quite a bit of trouble, but after leveling up a bit, the rest of the game was kind of a breeze. Even the final boss took me one try with the Ultima spell and going ham on it. I didn't mind playing as Shotgun, but I wished other characters were playable, and the weird thing is, you would have moments where you run around in the field as someone other than Shotgun, but still get into combat as Shotgun. It wasn't that big of an issue, but I got slightly disappointed at points where there would be Reno or Cloud with you, but neither go into combat with you. The game is divided by chapters, and it tends to mix things up by having you shoot things in real time, as well as avoid obstacles and avoid hitting birds when flying the tiny Bronco.
As for the presentation, yep, what I see is a phone game from the mid-2000s. What else could I say? I'm sure it was pretty good for its time. This being a fan remake though, I did look up a let's play of the original version and there are some differences in visual presentation. The music, oh man, when I talk about Final Fantasy, I have to talk about the music. I mean, it's a sin not to. I mean, Final Fantasy music takes up a huge chunk of my Spotify playlist. This game though, I love the opening title song. It reminds me of bands like Flyleaf and Paramore. The music in this game though, it's alright, I'd say. I mean, I've heard better songs from the rest of the Final Fantasy series, and I mean, this being a fan remake, some of the music is from Crisis Core and the original Final Fantasy VII.
The sky is falling.
I won't be giving this game a score due to it following different standards from what I normally review on this channel. The main takeaway I have from this game is the fact that I'm glad that I finally got to be able to play it. I don't play phone games normally. In fact, I have not even touched Brave Exvius, Mobius, or the Final Fantasy VII G-Byte game. Oh wait, that one was cancelled. I'm still counting my experience playing the fan remake as having to play before Crisis. Thank you guys for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell for more content. And I will see you guys for my review of Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII.
Me to the